Hello, this is Tanishta Kotin, and today we'll be diving into the eccentric and intricate details of Wes Anderson and his filming style. So, a little bit about Wes Anderson himself. He is known for his whimsical journeys of movies and narrative storytelling using visual palettes, color palettes, schemes, symmetry, and framing, which is all meticulously placed itself. None of it is a coincidence, which is what makes it is one of the special features and aspects of Wes Anderson's films, and there are many more to come to it. There's a lot of details within his films, which we will break down in this video. Also, be taking a deeper look into two of his films, which were best known throughout his career. The first one being The Grand Budapest Hotel, and the second one being Darjeeling Unlimited. So, let's get started. So, beginning with the visual aspect, the color palette of Wes Anderson films, the choice that he makes in the colors, usually it always takes the audience into a whole new whimsical journey to a new universe, which is known and signifies that of Wes Anderson. A lot of his times, the palette he uses in his films are either retro based colors, retro vintage, pastel hues, or vibrant colors, and these three palettes are same throughout all of his films depending on the narrative of the films itself. Now, because of these meticulous use of the colors that he uses in his films, it stands out throughout, and the visual richness creates a sense of wonder and nostalgia throughout his films, which suits also his main type of storytelling, which is that of a dysfunctional family. Hence, the color used are mostly warm, and you'll notice that they're never on the colder side, the cooler side. There will be blues, but they're not as harsh or prominent as that of warm tone colors. Second part is the symmetry. Now, majority of the films we see in Hollywood or in Bollywood are usually the setting of the frames are varied. There's a lot of distinctive styles and angles used throughout the films to make it more interesting and appealing. But what Wes Anderson has done throughout his films is something which needs to be studied, because he genuinely loves and perfects the art of symmetry throughout his films. It is kind of a genius way to hold the audience's attention, and also an ingenious way because it goes against the norms of Hollywood films and filmmaking. Throughout his films, you will notice that the main characters will be placed in between, in the center of the frame, usually with a clock or a door behind, matching up and aligning with the symmetry of the screen. And also, what Wes Anderson is known for a lot of the times is their one take shots. So if a character is moving from one page to the other, it will not be cut, it is a whole new shot, a one take shot, which makes it so perfectly Wes Anderson, because even though it's a one long take shot, the symmetry still maintains. So this just goes to show how intricate Wes Anderson is with his framing, and where the composition and the mise-en-scene of his frames and the movie, so it makes it much more visually appealing and it holds the audience's attention. It is just one of the things that makes Wes Anderson so much more eccentric and intricate and thoughtful and detailed. None of it is just a coincidence or just out of the blue air. It is all planned out to the T, and that is why symmetry is the most important aspect of Wes Anderson. If one thinks Wes Anderson, they think of symmetry in his films, and a lot of people try to mimic it, but they can never get it as close as Wes Anderson. That is his signature style or signature way of making films in Hollywood, and he is known for that for all good reasons. Now, coming on to the films of Wes Anderson, The Grand Budapest Hotel and Darjeeling Unlimited. Firstly, comparing the two in terms of color palette, we will notice that Grand Budapest Hotel has a more pastel colored palette rather than having a vibrant color palette that is in Darjeeling Unlimited, which is to match that of the Indian culture and heritage which they are showing through the storytelling of Darjeeling Unlimited. Secondly, the main difference between the two films is the use of symmetry and framing. You will notice that in Grand Budapest Hotel, there's a much more prominence giving to symmetry and framing, as it shows the kind of neutral side or balanced side of all the characters within the film, which makes it more visually aesthetic and leaves the audience in a space where they don't really understand who is the murderer and who is exactly what side the characters are on. And as for Darjeeling Unlimited, you will notice that since there's not a lot of symmetry in the film itself, it is actually quite hustle and bustling. There's always something busy going on within the scenes. The camera movement is a bit more unstable rather than how it is in Grand Budapest Hotel, where it is a bit more stable. In the Darjeeling Unlimited, the camera is constantly moving and doing there's no more a lot of one take shots. It's multiple shots within, which I feel is to mirror the hustling and bustling life of India itself, which is what they're trying to show within the storytelling of the three brothers coping up with the loss of their father. And that was one of the main differences. The third thing is in the setting itself. Now, in the Grand Budapest Hotel, it is known for the miniature hotel they use. A lot of the setting and location is not real in the Grand Budapest Hotel. It is actually miniature sets which has been visually manipulated to make look larger and like a real set, which is what makes the film even more unique and even more special, and just as much as Wes Anderson intends to. Whereas Darjeeling Unlimited is actually shot and set in real locations within India, which makes the story a bit more warmer to heart, closer to heart. People find it a bit more dramatic, and they connect to it, to the journey that the three brothers are going through, which makes it even more appealing to the audience. And at the end, the movie is close to heart, and it makes it more rich, authentic. And those are the three comparisons of these two major films of Wes Anderson. And with this, I complete the review of Wes Anderson. He is indeed one of the most ingenious directors of Hollywood at this moment. He's detailed, and he never leaves anything out within his films. His messages, themes are always on point, and they are relatable universally throughout the world. And it just proves the point that cinema, translates into each and every culture and each and every heritage. And Wes Anderson's unique take of symmetry, color palettes, and framing just makes it even more accessible and lovable by all people in the world. And yes, thank you so much for watching.